she bout to come. When I come, I rub my dick across her gums. She love me cause I'm all about funds and having fun. Broke her ass for a honey bun. Had to hit me back, she had to.
Episode 3, The First Selections. The sun was setting over the ocean, casting a golden glow across the ceremony deck as the 5 couples sat side by side in matching white resort wear, legs brushing, hands nervously twitching. A long wooden table held 12 bracelets, sleek black cords with shimmering bronze charms, one for each tempter. The atmosphere was tight, hot. Everyone was pretending to be calm. Kyoko stepped forward, her heels clicking sharply across the deck. She addressed the group. Tonight, you'll each choose one person to go on your very first date with. This is your opportunity to explore new connections, even the ones you never expected to feel. Your partner will be sitting beside you as you make your decision. A beat of silence. Then she nodded toward the 5 seated singles. Let's begin. Akashi stood slowly, brushing imaginary lint off his tailored linen pants. His expression was composed, but his fingers trembled slightly as he walked toward the table. Bakuto sat beside him, tense and unusually quiet. Akashi's eyes scanned the crowd of tempters until they landed on Osamu Miya, who was already smirking, arms crossed, biting into a slice of fruit with complete confidence. Kyoko prompted, Akashi, who will you be going on your first date with? He didn't hesitate. Osamu. Bakuto's head snapped toward him, his jaw clenched. Osamu strolled over as if he already knew the outcome. Knew you had good taste, he whispered, accepting the bracelet as he leaned just a bit too close. Bakuto didn't blink, but his knuckles were white around the edge of his chair. Hinata stood next, rubbing the back of his neck. His cheeks were flushed already, but not from heat. Kageyama stared forward, body stiff, lips pressed into a line. Hinata looked at the options, flashy, confident, seductive, and landed on Tsukishima. Of course it had to be him. Tsuki, he said quietly. Then, louder, I choose Tsukishima. Tsukishima raised one unimpressed brow. How nostalgic. He stepped forward and took the bracelet. I assume this means you've accepted your fate to lose to me, again. Hinata blushed hard. Kageyama growled under his breath. You picked that guy. Hinata glanced sideways, guilt tugging at his lip. But it was done. The tension shifted palpably when Oikawa stood, adjusting his sheer cream button-up and squaring his shoulders like he was walking onto a battlefield. Iwaizumi looked up at him, eyes narrowed, unreadable. Oikawa's gaze swept over the options, confident, flirtatious, curious, until it fell upon Ushijima, standing tall in a charcoal shirt, arms behind his back like a soldier. A small, smug smile curved on Oikawa's lips. I choose Wakatoshi-kun. Iwaizumi inhaled sharply, like he'd been slapped. Ushijima stepped forward without hesitation. I look forward to meaningful time together, Oikawa. Oikawa smirked. So formal, so stiff. This'll be fun. Iwaizumi muttered, you're doing this to piss me off. Oikawa didn't deny it. Kenma didn't stand so much as reluctantly rise, tugging his hoodie sleeves down like armor. Kyoru leaned in just slightly. Don't overthink it. Kenma didn't answer. His golden eyes flicked toward Terashima. Tattoos, lip ring, bleached blonde undercut, trouble incarnate. Kenma thought he'd be safe picking someone completely opposite of what he liked. Someone chaotic. Terashima, he said quietly. I pick you. Terashima's grin spread slow and wide. Finally, I was getting bored over here. He strutted up and leaned into Kenma's space as he took the bracelet, whispering, hope you're ready to break some rules, kitten. Kenma blinked rapidly, his heart jumping for reasons he didn't like. Kyuru's eyes were sharp on them both. Last was Atsumu. He stood confidently, on the outside. Inside, his pulse was screaming. Sakusa was watching him with a blank stare, cold, impenetrable. Atsumu gave a half smile, cocked his hip, and looked straight at Aaron, who was calm, collected, arms folded and looking right back at him like he already knew. I'm pickin' Aaron, Atsumu said, voice light. Let's see if you still remember how to dance. Sakusa's fingers twitched in his lap. His expression didn't change. Aaron gave a soft laugh. Still got rhythm. Let's find out if you can keep up. He took the bracelet and let his fingers brush Atsumu's hand a little too long. Atsumu didn't move away. The 5 returned to their seats, now separated slightly from their boyfriends by the presence of their tempters standing nearby. Kyoko returned to the center. These are your first connections. Whether they stay playful, emotional, or something more, that's up to you. Get ready for your first date. The second drop, the boyfriends choose. The tables had officially turned. Hinata, Akashi, Atsumu, Oikawa, and Kenma were now sitting beside their boyfriends. fresh off their yacht dates, still glowing from sun and flirtation. But tonight, it was their turn to watch. The Tempters lined up under golden floodlights, framed by the ocean breeze and dramatic music. Each of them stood confidently, daring the boyfriends to choose them. Kyoko stood center stage, poised and stunning as always. Now it's time for the five of you, Kageyama, Bakuto, Sakusa, Iwaizumi, and Kyoru, to choose your first date. Who are you curious about? Who might test your boundaries? And who's already under your skin? She let the silence draw out like a blade. Step forward when you're ready. Kageyama stood with a scowl like this entire idea offended him. Hinata eyed him, arms crossed tightly across his chest. Kageyama's gaze darted toward Sugawara, who gave him a teasing wink and tilted his head as if already inside his head. Sugawara, Kageyama said flatly. Hinata's mouth dropped open. Seriously. Suga strolled forward and reached for the bracelet. I like 'em grumpy. Bet I can make you smile somewhere. Hinata grabbed his drink tighter. Bakuto stood awkwardly, clearly struggling, then locked eyes with the tempter who had probably shouted the loudest earlier. Goshiki, Goshiki, Bakuto said with a breathless laugh. I think you'll be fun. Goshiki beamed like he'd just won nationals. I will be fun, and you'll forget all about that quiet guy real quick. Akashi's brow arched, but he said nothing. His fingers curled in his lap. Sakusa didn't speak. He simply looked up from the floor, right into Suna's lazy, knowing eyes. Everyone else disappeared. Suna walked forward, slow and dangerous. I knew you'd come around. Atsumu exhaled sharply. Seriously? Him. Suna took the bracelet and whispered. I bite. You'll love it. Sakusa's lip twitched. He didn't deny it. Iwaizumi's expression didn't change, even as Oikawa's body tensed beside him. He scanned the group, eyes hard, until he met Kita's quiet, calming gaze. Kita gave a single nod, measured, respectful. I'm honored. Oikawa hissed under his breath. Oh, you would pick the one with emotional maturity. Iwaizumi didn't respond, but his grip on the bracelet was a little too tight. Finally, Kyoru stood and immediately faced Yaku, who was already smirking. Kenma didn't even look surprised, but his tone was ice cold when he muttered, should have guessed. Yaku, Kyoru said with a half smile. Let's see if you still know all my weak points. I invented them. Yaku shot back, snatching the bracelet. Kenma rolled his eyes so hard they nearly fell out. Kyoko's final words. Kyoko stepped forward again, voice low and rich with meaning. Let's see how it feels to be the one watched. Enjoy your night, gentlemen. Drinks, dancing, questions you've been avoiding. The Tempters began leading the boyfriends away, one by one, toward flickering lights, music, and the unknown. And across the deck, their boyfriends watched them disappear into the night. Yacht. Group date. Singles, Hinata, Akashi, Kenma, Atsumu, Oikawa, Tempters, Tsukishima, Osamu, Terushima, Aaron, Ushijima. The sun glinted off the surface of the ocean like diamonds scattered across silk. A sleek white yacht bobbed gently against the pier, already stocked with drinks, cushions, and temptation in every direction. The 5 selected singles stood in line on the dock, sunglasses on, tension high. Each one had made a safe choice, or so they thought. Kyoko's voice still rang in their heads. Your job isn't to fall in love, it's to be honest, even when it hurts. The Tempters were already aboard, waiting. Hinata's jaw clenched as he saw Tsukishima lounging in the sun, button-down shirt open over his toned chest, sunglasses halfway down his nose. Hinata, grumbling, this is fine. He's annoying. I'm immune. Tsukishima, catching his eye, still short. Hinata, still a bitch. Tsukishima smirked. God, I missed this. Akashi stepped up next, brushing invisible lint from his collar as his eyes landed on Osamu Miya, seated with a beer in hand and a knowing grin. He looked way too comfortable. Osamu, you clean up nice, pretty boy. Akashi, I'm not here to be flirted with. I came to talk. Osamu, then sit down and let me listen. Real close. Akashi blinked, the slow blink that meant danger, and maybe interest. Kenma sighed and pushed up his hoodie sleeves, heart sinking the moment he saw Hiroshima shirtless and tattooed, lying back on the deck like this was spring break. Hiroshima, without even sitting up. Yo, you ever get bored of guys who read books and don't bite? What? Exactly. Kenma turned pink and muttered, I've made a terrible mistake. Atsumu stepped up onto the deck with a swagger he almost believed in, until Aaron met him with that devastating calm, muscles, deep voice, and a stare that made Atsumu's knees just barely consider buckling. You didn't pick me cause I was safe, did you? Atsumu, coolly, I picked you cause you're the only one I wouldn't ruin. Nah, I think you picked me cause you wanna be ruined. Oikawa was last, smile plastered, sunglasses large, posture perfect, and there, standing like a damn statue on the side of the yacht, was Ushijima Wakatoshi. Ushijima didn't smile, he just held out a hand to help Oikawa on board. This is insane. You chose me. I chose you because I thought you were boring. I'm not. Oikawa turned away quickly. We're not talking about high school, or volleyball. Good. I'd rather talk about why you haven't smiled for real once since arriving here. Stunned silence. The yacht set sail. Music thumped gently from the speakers. The ocean stretched endless and blue around them. A full spread of food and champagne was laid out, but no one cared about the fruit platter. Everyone was watching everyone else. Hinata and Tsukishima. They sat on the back of the boat, legs stretched, sunglasses off now. You know, I never stopped being impressed by you. Hinata, what? You're still annoying, but you got under my skin in high school. You still do. You trying to flirt or start a fight? Tsukishima, lazily, little bit of both. Hinata, blushing, don't look at me like that. Like what? Like you'd touch me if I let you, would you? No, Hinata said, quietly, maybe. Akashi and Osamu poured them wine, their knees brushing under the table. I want to know why I feel seen around you. Cause I don't look at you like you're a puzzle. I just like what I see. You're dangerous. Not really. I just don't pretend. You want honesty, don't you? Akashi, voice low. I don't know what I want anymore. Osamu, leaning closer, then let's start with what you need. Akashi exhaled slowly. His wine glass shook. Kenma and Terushima. Terushima had Kenma pinned with his eyes, all casual arrogance and golden skin. Your boyfriend's probably watching. You think he'd be pissed if I kissed your neck? You wouldn't. No, Kenma, breathless. He would kill you. Worth it. Kenma, cheeks flaming. Stop looking at me like I'm prey. Stop being so delicious then. Atsumu and Aaron. They danced slow near the rail, bodies too close, music pumping. You always been this tense. Only when someone's fucking me, then relax. I'm not your boyfriend. Exactly the problem. Aaron, fingers sliding around Atsumu's waist. You sure you're still in love with him? Atsumu, eyes dropping. Shut up, didn't say no. Oikawa and Ushijima. They stood at the helm, ocean air tossing their hair. I don't understand you. You don't have to. I understand you. Oikawa, vulnerable for a second. That's the scariest thing anyone's ever said to me. Ushijima, stepping closer, then be scared. But don't lie to yourself. Oikawa swallowed. He didn't move. Each of the five began this yacht date with the belief that they could resist. But the wind was heavy with heat. Eyes locked too long, words laced with just enough meaning to tempt. The line between curiosity and betrayal, it's getting thinner. Sun. Singles, Kageyama, Bakudo, Sakusa, Iwaizumi, Kyoru. Tempters, Sugawara, Gashiki, Suna, Kita, Yaku. The villa's garden had been transformed into a candlelit courtyard. Lanterns swayed in the breeze. A private bar stood fully stocked, glowing under warm golden bulbs. The music started soft, sultry, with the rhythm of temptation in every beat. One by one, the boys stepped into their separate corners of the courtyard with their tempters. Kageyama and Sugawara. Kageyama stood stiffly under the fairy lights, hands shoved into his pockets, trying not to look directly at Sugawara's white button-down half undone and his smile far too relaxed. You're tense, Suga said, stepping closer. Do you ever just let someone take care of you? Kageyama grunted. I don't need that. Suga handed him a drink. Maybe not. But don't you ever want it? Kageyama didn't answer. Suga sipped his own cocktail and moved closer, their knees brushing. You spend so much time trying to be perfect. Don't you get tired of holding everything together? Kageyama's voice was rough. I'm not holding anything together. Suga smirked. Liar. A silence stretched between them, charged. You're in love with someone who doesn't stop moving, Suga said quietly. But you want stillness. You want peace. Kageyama didn't move. And then, slowly, Sugawara's fingers grazed his wrist. Saw. Testing. Kageyama let them linger. Bakudo and Gashiki. Try this one. Gashiki shoved a neon shot toward Bakudo, cheeks flushed from their third drink. Bakudo laughed and knocked it back. You're wild. You like wild, Gashiki teased. You are wild. You just forgot. Bakudo blinked, the words hitting deeper than he expected. They moved to the small makeshift dance floor, and Gashiki didn't hesitate. He pressed in close, body swaying awkwardly at first, then sinking. You think Akashi sees this part of you? Gashiki asked suddenly, breath warm against Bakudo's cheek. The messy, loud, needy version. Bakudo flinched. He does. But does he like it? Gashiki's voice dropped, hand sliding just barely onto Bakudo's waist. Because I do. Bakudo was quiet. Shaken. Then he smiled, big and unsteady, and kept dancing. Sakusa and Suna. Suna watched Sakusa with eyes half-lidded, drink in hand, tongue resting against the rim of his glass like he was tasting more than rum. You're hard to read, he murmured. But I like puzzles. I'm not here to be figured out, Sakusa said tightly. No. Suna leaned in, brushing his shoulder as he passed behind him. Then why do you keep looking at me like you want to be cracked open? Sakusa's eye snapped to him. You keep pretending this is about distance, Suna said. But maybe it's just that nobody's gotten close enough to see the soft parts. Sakusa turned to leave, but stopped when Suna's hand found his elbow. Let me in, and I'll show you something terrifying, Suna said softly. Intimacy. Sakusa's breath hitched. He didn't pull away. Iwaizumi and Kita. Kita poured 2 drinks himself, slow and careful. His button-down was crisp, sleeves rolled to the elbows, the scent of cedar and lemon clinging to him like comfort. You pick me because I'm safe, he said. But you don't feel safe right now. Iwaizumi was silent. You're holding something in. I'm not the kind to complain. Kita nodded. That's the problem. Iwaizumi finally spoke. He doesn't listen anymore. Then say it to me. Iwaizumi stared down at his drink. I'm tired of chasing someone who keeps running, he whispered. Kita didn't touch him. He didn't rush. He simply said, you don't have to chase me. That was the most dangerous part. Kiryu and Yaku. You look like you're waiting for permission, Yaku said, swirling his drink. You never used to need it. Kiryu smiled lazily. Maybe I've mellowed. Or maybe Kenma's just got you trained. Kiryu chuckled, but his fingers twitched. You miss the chaos? Yaku asked. The challenge? The fight? Kiryu looked away. You're baiting me. Maybe. Maybe I just know you too well. Yaku leaned forward. You remember what I taste like? He whispered. Kiryu's smile faltered. Yes, he admitted. Their knees touched. The night air was cool but thick with tension as the couples gathered around the roaring bonfire. The flames cast flickering shadows across their faces, painting them with orange and gold hues, illuminating every tight jaw, every lingering glance. The island felt suddenly smaller and heavier. Kyoko stood at the edge of the circle, her voice calm but commanding. Tonight marks a turning point. From here, you will be separated, divided into 2 villas, each with your tempters. Boundaries will be set. Rules established. She let the words hang, watching the reactions ripple through the group. The low hum of the ocean waves seeped through the open windows of the beach house, a gentle reminder of how far from the outside world they were. Inside, the soft glow of lanterns painted Atsumu and Sakusa's living room in muted gold, but the air between them was heavy with unspoken tension. Atsumu ran a hand through his hair, exhaling slowly. All right, so, before any of this shit gets out of hand, we set some ground rules. No physical touch outside of what we already have. No kissing. No crossing lines. We keep this clean. Sakusa's eyes flicked toward him, dark and serious. I don't want to lose you to some game. Atsumu laughed bitterly. Like you'd let that happen. Sakusa's voice softened just a fraction. I'm scared, Osamu. This is fucking hard for both of us. Atsumu stepped closer, their shoulders almost touching, but he stopped himself. That's why we stick to the rules. Sakusa nodded slowly. I trust you. At Kageyama and Hinata's house, the tension was different, charged with youthful vulnerability. Hinata's fingers twitched nervously on his knees while Kageyama's gaze was intense, searching. We need boundaries, Kageyama said flatly. No stupid shit. No touching anyone else. Hinata's voice was barely a whisper. I'm scared you'll. Kageyama cut him off. Don't say that. But what if this breaks us? Hinata's eyes were wide, desperate. Kageyama's expression softened as he reached over, resting a hand on Hinata's shoulder, careful, respectful. We're stronger than that. I won't let this break us. Hinata smiled through his nerves. Promise. Promise. In a quieter corner of the island, Oika and Iwaizumi sat side by side, the tension in the room thick enough to cut. Oika's fingers drummed lightly on his knee. Oi, let's be real, no matter what, no crossing lines. No matter how tempting it gets, Iwaizumi said, eyes dark with warning. Oika smirked, but there was honesty behind it. You're always watching my back. Always. They leaned into each other, careful not to touch beyond their clasped hands. We set the rules. We stick to them. Yeah. We do. Kenma and Kiryu's conversation was quieter but no less charged. Kenma's gaze was unreadable but his voice was firm. We keep it simple. No physical contact outside of us. No exceptions. Kiryu's eyes flicked over Kenma's face. You trust me? Kenma nodded. More than anyone. Kiryu's grin was slow, confident. Good. Because I'm not letting anyone mess this up. Bakuto and Akashi sat close but careful, the firelight casting flickers across their faces. Akashi's voice was calm but serious. Kotaro, we agree, no physical contact with the Tempters. No bullshit. Bakuto's fiery grin softened. I swear. No one's getting between us. Akashi reached out, brushing Bakuto's hand briefly, a touch charged with meaning but not crossing the line. We keep each other safe. That's the only rule. Bakuto nodded fiercely. The only one. Across the island, the couples each fortified their trust with words and unspoken promises, boundaries set with care and fear. The game was ruthless, the stakes high, and every moment could tip the balance. But for now, their loyalty was the one thing they all held tight. Now, to the viewers at home. What would you do if your partner danced with danger? If someone else touched the places you thought only they knew? Would you trust them, or test them? Did you notice who already started to stray? Who's hiding behind loyalty, and who's using it as an excuse? Which couple do you think won't survive the separation? And which tempter just might become something more? Because on Temptation Island, Heikaiu Edition, love isn't the only thing at risk. Reputation, desire, truth. It all burns under the island sun.
Bitch left leg lock up when she bout to come. When I come, I rub my dick across her gums. She love me cause I'm all about